I've pushed a button and we have gone live. If and when people come in, they can let me know if the audio levels are correct. Seem like it might be a little high. I'll turn it down a little bit, I guess. Pretty high in my headphones. Hope everybody is doing well. This is the only stream this week. I don't know that's going to be a super long stream. Maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Try to get some stuff done in the background while I chat with folks. Not a super focused stream. Like I said, I'm pretty tired, and but I wanted to get a stream in for this week, just to say hi. Sarenth, Happy Face, Roll, a Phantom Ghost, Klaus Jordan, my friend. Hello, everybody. Old Man Dash, ERCS, Visibility 0, Antref, Artemis. Hello, guys. Loving beta, by the way. Community has been great there. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Mr. Z, you know, every once in a while we'll hear somebody talk about like, oh, the community's mean or whatever. I haven't seen it. We've got a pretty chill community. There's always going to be some bad apples. Speaking of, let me... Let me stay on top of that. Let me see. Cool. That was just, I was like, what happened to Discord? It's just my stream notification. It's just me telling me that I have gone live. Hey, Marcy. Hammer Pipes. Trevane. Searcha. Redris. Postate. What's going on, guys? What's up, Derelict? Ventilion. Hey, Coot, you are not toxic. How could the person that has all the good ideas be toxic? Impossible. Yeah, yesterday was a good holiday. I worked. I think that's what I did. Worked for the most part. I have not been listening to Parade of Horribles. Do not give us any Dungeon Crawler Carl spoilers. Don't do it. It will be a permanent ban from everything. We are still in the process of going back through all of the books. I think we just hit book 5. Yeah, we're back on the Bedlam Bride. So we're trying to get caught up, so today I'm mainly just talking to you guys while I place some pillars around and then flop some pillars over. I figured I could do something in the background while I chat with you guys. Class questions answered, not today. I can tell you that there's going to be a class update posted maybe later today, but probably this weekend. Zillith has a nice update that's been that he wrote up with some great details for the first of the deep dives on the class first class to have a deep dive, I guess. However you say that in English. Which classes are on the docket? We've front-loaded some classes where we're kind of wanting to explore a few things with a little bit more time and in more detail. So, I don't know. Is it a spoiler if I say which class you're getting the first deep dive on? Have you ever thought about... Oh, too tired. What's going on? Have you ever thought about, Have you ever thought about, removing the issue from the PvP Discord? A lot less timeouts would happen. LMAO. What I'm going to do is, as I have an opportunity to look over into the romper room, if I see people referencing other people in a way that is liable to incite some sort of continued back and forth, then you're getting timed out. And the timeouts will continue to be progressive. And for some of the people that have been around for a while and should know better, it'll be 10 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 24 hours. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Too Tired. I don't care if someone's self-glazing. But I will say, Too Tired, don't bring it in here. Leave it in there. It's not going to help you out in here. You know what I mean? Hey, ALR, if the upcoming public test goes well, is there any chance of just opening the beta? No, can't do that. If you feel like somebody is baiting you into misbehaving in Discord, don't take the bait. They will eventually get themselves in trouble, and then they will go away. But I don't need, I don't need little Discord vigilantes getting all spun up and creating even more work. So... I don't know. Faith Fellowship Fund said another reason I don't care about PvP in my games, the people that are passionate about it are actually just passionate about making others miserable. I don't know that that's true. Again, we have a fair number of people on the PvP server. I play on the PvP server. I play on both servers, but I play on the PvP server. Again, I'm not in any of the guild drama. I'm not in certain high-level zones where there's drama or whatever, and I play in off hours. But the amount of drama and the number of people who are either involved in sort of the more I don't want to say constant, but more frequent petitions, the back and forth in Discord, etc. Even relative to the number of people just in closed testing, it is a tiny amount. And so that's why more and more as we don't have the time to just sit there and stare at like Discord all day. So when we look over and just see it going on, people are like, "Oh man, that's selective enforcement." Yeah, it is selective enforcement. You're in a beta right now. And we're not taking the time to just sit there. And even when we go into EA, it may feel selective at time because we may not, we may not have the resources to always be like 100% Johnny on the ball. But what we'll do is we'll continue to note on accounts, flag accounts, look for the problems, and we'll just work on getting rid of it. And I think in the past on this project, there was, you know, some people on the team maybe had a little more concern about like, but what will the cool people within the established like MMO community think if we slap some of these hands? Like, and it's just, if they get themselves banned, they get themselves banned. I don't know what to say. We're just, over time, we slowly just we'll get rid of people out of Discord. And then maybe it'll get quieter there. They can go to other places. They can go to other forums or websites or other Discords and talk about how lame we are for doing it. But it's just, sorry guys, we're running a business. Criddle, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Criddle's friends. Hope you had a fun stream. Yeah. Are those balls going to be lit up on those pillars? You never know what these pillars are going to do. Consider this very much like we're not showing you the cool part. It's very much, I'm just sort of, I'm going to start plopping there's going to be a ton of pillars in here. And then we'll stop flopping some pillars over, and then we'll start rearranging them to help break up like the flow through here, because these are actually pretty massive. They're about that big probably. So then we'll start to turn it into a little bit of a actual layout. But the first thing is just to get the pieces in place. Pretty sure Bjorn already spoiled what these pillars do. Yeah, I turned off what some of the stuff is in here just to make it less spoily while I'm in here. Multimegawatt said, did you start above? No, just right there said, actual PvP has been much less than 1% of my playtime. Discord makes the server sound like a hellscape, lol. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild how different my experiences are on the server versus like babysitting the Discord. And that's why it's kind of like over time, I hate to say it, I like a lot of the people, you know, the personalities and stuff in the Discord. It's just, guys, don't care. Take it, make a new Discord. You can make an unofficial MNM PvP Discord if you really just want to sit there and screw with each other. Dash 728 said, I've spent probably 50 hours on PvP server and dealt with gankers like twice. Yeah. So many people on the PvP server right now are only there because they can't get into the PvE server, so it's not really a fair comparison. Why? They're on the server. And the thing is, we're retaining them at the same rate, where I think some of them are actually enjoying it. I understand that we can say that, hey, it's not a true test. No, they signed up for PvP because I understand that part, Criddle. I get the rationale behind like what you're saying. I'm saying that I don't necessarily agree with the statement, right? Like the reason why, because it's basically saying PvP, people are talking about how gnarly PvP is on the server in Discord. And we're saying, yeah, but it's actually not that gnarly on the server, to which you're then saying, right, because the people that are on the server actually want to play PvE. Okay, I don't know how to like prove or disprove it. But what we're saying is that the belief of how the server is currently functioning is not accurate to what's going on the server for most people. And I will say that most of the people on the server probably aren't PvE people, looking at the numbers of how many people were there and how many people we've added. Right. So Criddle said yes. So let's say we have 1,000 people on the PvP server. 900 of those just want to play PvE and could care less about PvP. Yes. We could also say, what if there are 1,000 people on the PvP server and 999 of them are PvE people? Then that would definitely prove our point. The math would not be true. It wouldn't be accurate. And I don't want to, like, I guess I could stop and look and see how many of the invites that went out, what number of the invites that went out that were accepted, because we don't have like 100% acceptance on our invites. Then make up the number of people that are on there by then doing, I guess, like a cohort breakdown to see when did they sign up relative to other players, so that we could then try to figure out, are they in one of the lottery cohorts? Then within the lottery cohort, we would have to suss out what percentage of that lottery cohort is truly PvP versus truly PvE. If 100% of the players on the PvP server wanted to PvP, you would see more people PvPing. Except people on the PvP, in the PvP channel and in the server, have stated a number of times that one of the reasons why they want to be on a PvP server is if they have the opportunity, or if they have the need to resolve a conflict, then they would do PvP if needed. But they're mainly there because of the desire for player agency in those situations. Because I do think that if people truly just wanted to just PvP, they would find a better game than M&M to PvP in. When I talk to people in more detail about, including the person we just added as the PvP designer and programmer, we're talking more. And when we talk about, like, why are they interested in this type of PvP game and what is driving the decision making process on, like, what is the right design or right decision for this game in terms of PvP, it constantly comes back to player agency and the ability to basically, if there is a need for a conflict, to have as fair, or I don't even want to necessarily say fair, but I think it works. They want to be able to fight for it, even if it's not a fair fight. So even if it's a higher level person than them, they want to at least have a small chance of landing a root or a snare or a mez and bailing out, or ideally being able to, like, gang up and do something about it. But it's better than just having to, like, petition, I guess. I'm hearing a lot of that, right? And then as they progress, then it turns into, hey, we know of these people, they know of us, and we want to get into, various altercations, I guess. I don't know. People watching this video can tell me I'm talking out of my ass, I guess. I'll check the comments. Criddle said, no, I get that, but I also believe you only see a fraction of players on the PvP server at EA launch. Right now, that server has a larger population because of the PvP, PvE thing. Yeah, sure. That's totally agreed. I think that'll tend to be the case. That fraction will want to be involved in more PvP, so you maybe have 10% of the people on the server wanting to PvP, but at EA you'll have closer to 50. Again, I think your numbers are, again, you're saying, like, if there's 1,000 people on the server, 900 of them are just there because they want to play the PvE beta, but they didn't get in, so. And I think that's not accurate, but I could be wrong. Clearly, you will have much larger percentage of players PvPing on launch. I don't know. I guess we'll check it out. We'll see. Now, what happens if the PvE players went to PvP and then they fell in love, then that would bias. There's no way we can have a scientific. We're never going to figure this one out. There's no way we can have a scientific test now. We've tainted the pool, Criddle. You doubt that you doubt it? I doubt it will, but it's a possibility. I mean, I'll be honest, playing on both servers now, I'm trying to split my time between both servers and just level various characters. And for whatever reason, the PvP server just kind of calls me. There's just something about it. It just makes it feel a little bit more like a world. There's definitely a lot of, you know, downsides or whatever, but and sorry, I've been actually doing a really horrible job of like reading all the comments. TD Pauls, thank you for the follow. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I am probably not going to stream for super long today. Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max. So if anybody on the team is wanting to stream afterwards, go ahead and keep that in mind. No, it was an interesting topic, Criddle, because I'm curious where it's ultimately going to land. For us, for the people who are probably about to comment on this video, and you know, I see the comments every once in a while in Discord that are like, "Oh no, now they're focusing on making a PvP game." Again, we're a 49-person team. We have one person that we brought in to, excuse me, burp. Brought in from the PvP community to focus on modifications for the PvP rule set. And this person just happened to be somebody that I was watching in the community, very good at articulating arguments, very diligent about collecting all of the various arguments into threads, posting those threads for us to find repeatedly in a cool way, like just saying, hey, just reminding you, these threads exist. Curious if any developers are checking them out. So I was reading some of those threads. I think, yeah, I was just sitting in the waiting room somewhere reading it, and was just like, hey, I really like some of the details in here, and it seemed like there was thought about actual formulaic details and stuff like that. So hit him up and talked to him for a bit, and come to find out, programmer by trade, able to code the stuff that they are talking about in terms of design. Is like, all right, if we've got a one-stop shop here, let's bring this person in. And while we continue to focus on the overall game, the PV, you know, the broader PvE game, then they can continue to work on seeing if we can make the PvP rules feel a bit better. There's some things that are just going to be very difficult for us to address, things like training and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of that person, let me mod them since they just popped in. I think that should have modded you now. Hello, Cross. As a and one of the reasons why I've always been interested in it is and again, not to have anybody be like, oh, it's just all about PvP now. I was the server GM on Talon Zek in EverQuest for a while. I honestly don't remember what other server I was GM of. I just remember being the GM of Talon Zek, and I thought I was the GM of another server for a bit. And I thought it was a very interesting experience to watch the bigger guilds go at each other and the overall experience there. And so then I was part of a group of 3 of us, 3 GMs pitched the concept for the Sulan Zek server. And yes, I got to see all the cross teaming and all of the petitions about Pandemonium and I forget the other guilds, to be honest. I just remember like Pandy. And I saw some really cool moments. We pitched Sulan Zek and then wound up playing on Sulan Zek as well. I only had a level 20 gnomish rogue on Sulan Zek. You might recognize the rogue actually. I guess I did put a character in game. People are always like, "Oh, it's my old D&D character," or whatever, when they're working on his own. Sproggett's Bed Springs was my little gnome rogue on Sulan. And we had some really fun fights there, so thought it was cool. I had a low level Ixar Necromancer on Ralos that was fun. And it's just, never anything big or high profile or important, but it was just, it just kind of had a cool feeling that stuck with me. So, we'll see. It could wind up that our PvP server at the end of the day has like, 100 people on it or 10 people or whatever. But then again, it could wind up that our normal servers have 100 of you. Who knows, right? We always want more, but we will continue to make the game that we think is the game that we want, and we'll see. I don't know. It's looking all right. The metrics from beta is looking good. Things are coming together. Any more thoughts on the 1-box server once we hit EA? Even if we had like infinite players, that we could spread them out across all sorts of different server rule sets and stuff. The 1-box server, it makes sense, and I understand all of the arguments for it. And honestly, I'm more, just speaking personally, I'm more inclined to say that a boxing server is just a 1-box server than I would be to say like it's a 5-box server or something. Again, that's just me talking though. Let's see. Server. No. Stats. Playtest stats. Maybe there are too many planned PvE servers? Maybe. If there are, then we'll just collapse them. Shitty player killer. Your name is definitely on theme. On theme for today. Welcome. 1.7, thank you for the follow. Pale Rider. Thank you. So here, I don't know how much you guys care about that stuff. Is there a plan to open a new open test server? The Real Vicious, we have a open playtest coming up. We have an open playtest coming up at the end of the month. So 29th through like the 7th, I believe. So one of the things that I was just mentioning this to, hey, Encrypt. One of the things I was just mentioning, how are the music levels? Are they okay? It was loud in my ear, so I just had to turn it down. The sandstorms, dude. I know I try to reply. We have a ticket in place for more knobs to tweak the sandstorms. Don't trust me. I get it. I get it. Does NWC have someone to go after G2G and other site selling and minimum account services? Yeah, one of the owners is a lawyer, and I mean we've sent them cease and desist. A lot of those companies are just in the middle of, you know, like they're in some country that doesn't care, so we can send them the stuff, and then we're gonna have to basically tackle it on the receiving end and things like that. But yeah, again, I don't know how much you guys kind of care about some of these stats, but if we look at here, this is our last month of playtesting, basically 15th to 15th. Today is the 15th. And so one of the things I was mentioning to Ali and maybe some other people, but I was mentioning it to Ali when we were chatting today, is when I've worked on other teams, it's actually really hard to keep people engaged in beta testing. So I've heard a number of people say, "Oh yeah, well, a lot of, you know, people are playing now, but when they have to pay, then they're not going to play anymore." And in my limited experience, I've only worked on X number of games, X number of companies. In my limited experience, and if any of you guys are industry people, please let me know if I'm wrong. If you've seen something else, if you're MMO folks, then let me know. The trend tends to be when we run beta tests, it's very hard to keep people engaged very long. So all of the EverQuest expansion betas that I worked on, you know, DC Universe Online betas, you know, testing that I've done at companies since then, it's actually really hard to keep people engaged. What we're seeing is these are the stats for the last month of beta. Now we can go back and actually, if we look at it, we can say, let's go back to the 1st of April, and then we'll end it at the end, not the end of May. That's the end of April. And so we'll look, and, you know, 6,500, almost 6,600 unique accounts. Average playtime per account is 56 hours. And you can see like peak CCU, our average CCU, etc. And you can look at the chart here in terms of how many hours the accounts are playing. And then if we go back to where we were, which was just the last month, May 15th. Let's reapply it. I think I did it right. So we have 71, almost, you know, 71 and a half, 100 accounts. Average play times gone up to 59. And you can see our CCU curves tracking pretty smooth. Relative, like they're kind of relative stability there. You know, there is this like downtrend during the week. We'll see if it comes back up. Then we also have the lottery that influences that as well. And the thing that we would look at is, you know, essentially, are we seeing a giant surge in the number of people that are falling into these low play times? And so what we've seen is that when we track it like week over week or month over month, essentially these numbers here, that, you know, anything below an hour is essentially where like they came in, poked around, and maybe they came back. We'd have to then do cohort analysis to see if they come back at a later week or, you know, what they're doing there. But a lot of times what's happening is these buckets are just kind of emptying forward, and then the bulk of the people are in this range. We're, like I tried to mention in previous stream, we're not in a how do we just have the biggest CCU number kind of business, right? That's not our only metric. What we're looking at is like, do people just keep coming in once or twice or 5 times or however many times each month, right? And did it come back month over month? So I don't know. I don't know if if you guys even care about that. Folks on the VOD, if you're watching, you can let me know as well, or if you have any questions. As we go live, we do want to have, we do want to try to provide you with dashboards that have as many of these numbers as possible, because it's so easy for people to get caught up in like the 2 numbers that they know, I guess, or the 1 number that they know, which is, you know, CCU. And sure, the concurrent number going down is an indication that, yeah, fewer people are probably playing that day, and definitely fewer people are playing during prime time concurrently. But one of the things that we found when, especially when I was like, when EverQuest was in its heyday, a new game would come out, like Dark Ages would come out or whatever would come out, and we would see a dip in our concurrent user count for a while, but our monthly subscriptions didn't change. It was people going over, playing something else, and they just came back. And that was that way all the way until WoW. And then WoW was just like done. And that's just kind of the behavior that I've seen on MMOs. Yeah, Steam charts are popular, but they don't tell the full story, right? Because, you know, another thing that we're looking at is for everything up here, and there are a couple questions in there I want to hit real quick. But if you look here, like, let's find a day, May 8th, the total concurrent was 1576 on May 8th. Like, that's the peak concurrent. So let's go down to May 8th here. May 8th. And so that was 2,885 unique players. So the next day, during the course of the day, we had 3,100. And so go back up to the 9th. And we had 1595. It's unique accounts. Hedge asked if it was unique accounts or characters. It's unique accounts. And then what we're seeing is, let me answer a question and then I'll come back. We'll see another interesting phenomenon. Oops. Okay, let's see. Account stats. So looking at account stats, there's this other thing that's going on, which is a lot of people are playing alts. A lot of people are playing an alt up into sort of the teens and, you know, mid 20s, and then playing again. And that's why you're seeing this increase in time kind of in here, while it's not necessarily coming out here. I think the average time for people with characters between 10 and 25 is like 100 hours. Pale Rider said, what are your thoughts on the game style of going vertical versus going wide in terms of progression for the long-term plan? Do you see a path of increasing levels or adding more depth as a better focus? Adding more depth as a better focus. Especially from early access launch until 1.0. There's going to be inherent additional breadth just as we start to fill in more regions of the world. There's going to be a lot of redundancy in current content. I think if we hit what we're looking to accomplish, we're going to see a lot of people accumulating in like the 20 to sort of like low to mid 40s range over time. Hopefully we see that. We start to see a buildup of people in that range. And then as we're releasing new regions and stuff, that means that there's more of the world that's still relevant to them. And they can spread out and check that out. And then a lot of the reason why people may stay in the 20s to 45, 46, kind of range is that they have a tendency to roll alts. I think a lot of people are trying new characters into teens because of beta. Oh, for sure. For sure. But we're hoping to encourage that. We're hoping to encourage that. Isn't that right, Penny Loafer? There's a new Penny Loafer video, and she was like, Sean mentioned my video. Of course I did. We're a small community. I will not say your name 3 times in a row, though. It's Plastic Code. Thank you for the follow. There was somebody else's question I want to answer. Cat said, I will say that being on this side of game dev, it's crazy how many experts come out to tell us we're doing everything wrong. How do you guys like that? I meant to ask you guys about that. I meant to ask it in Slack, though. I meant to ask Slack like what it feels like to work on a game. And then Crito asked, did you believe his people playing alts or just checking out different classes to see what they like? I think that's fair. I think probably more the latter than the former. I think, but again, don't sleep on casual behavior. And sometimes those things aren't. It's not like it's not mutually exclusive. I think a lot of people, just. That's just how they play as well. Or they'll have one that they're really trying to focus on, but then it's just, or like Penny said in her recent video, they have a static group, and so they're moving their static group, and then they're playing alts, but they've got rules for their static group. Yeah, so at this point, when we look at this, if we were to look at, let's look at level range just 60. So 68 level 60s in the game with a median playtime of 673 hours. I was talking to Ollie about this earlier. We may have to look at how we're pulling this data to make sure it's 100% kosher or whatever. Sorry, I had to time somebody out. I just look over every once in a while. I look over Discord. I'm like, you're so silly. I have not dipped into the new DCC book. I was mentioning earlier in the stream that we're trying to basically listen through the whole thing all the way back up to the new book. So, what's up, Squats? Also, Justin Beard, I saw you in here earlier. Are you still in here, my friend? Hello, my dear friend, Justin Beard. Wanted to get a character to the early 20s so I could really help guide the non-EQ, my non-EQ friends through the early levels, get them hooked. I was thinking by the 20s they should have the taste for it and we could discover new things together. but I thought it was important to be the dedicated guide early on. Well, that's very nice of you, Marcy. Let me see. I'm too Gen X to make Twitch work. Glizzy Dan TV, thank you for the shout out. I'm trying to see who Criddle is responding to. 74 Gaming said, I still believe most people are expecting class changes to come to beta, so they made alts to level and prepare for these to be implemented. That is also a thing. I think that is also a thing. Yeah, so let's look at something like 20 to 25 maybe. $940 accounts in that range. The average playtime for accounts that are 20 to 25 is 110 hours, and we have a max. Somebody's got a level 20 to 25 that has 771 hours played. Okie dokie. All right. That's interesting. Is it a 25? And it's not the 25. Yeah, who is it? I'm interested as well. Is it the 24? AFK tester. It is. It is the person that is sitting AFK in the bar. No, I'm not saying that person sucks. I'm actually saying they have an interest. I'm curious if they have an interesting playstyle or if they are just kind of AFK. Yeah. What level is Mimi? No, Mimi's a higher level than that. Buff and stuff. I don't know, man. I love the people so much that are just like the townies. I kind of wish we had a class that's like just citizen. If there was if you guys could design the coolest just citizen class. Yeah, I mean would it be required to be a merchant class, but just like a senior citizen class? Well, we would get to that later. That would be an expansion move, Corvus. Oh, should a PvP guard class? We get started on play as a monster. How would you level up as a citizen, right? That's the question. Merchant class like Ragnarok, yeah. I have to dig into that. When was the last time I actually looked at that? I haven't thought about Ragnarok in forever. Oh. Interesting, yeah. I had to look it up. I was like, The citizens have boosted trade skills, maybe banked storage. I have to think about what the benefits would be. Diplomat class would be dope, Goblin said. Well, a high level citizen would be the path to diplomat. Vanguard did have some of that stuff. Yeah. One of our newer team members was on the Vanguard team. I have to ask him if he remembers any of that. Adventurers can't craft anymore. I love it. Now that's going too far, I think. Make a merchant where a high-level citizen can become the ruler of the city for today, and they can be helpful for an absolute menace to society. So it's funny, when you look at a lot of the stuff that, like, Ashes of Creation was wanting to do, and I know other games have done it, but when you look at some of the things they were wanting to do with, like, politics and all that other stuff, I see that as what if you get the foundation of the game in, you get the base game in, and then over time, you know, either on the way to 1.0 or post 1.0, when you're looking at like, what do you do with the server, or what do you do with the game? Is it strictly send people away to far off lands, or is it, again, try to find not only additional content that you add in that gives you some power progression vertically speaking, but also it's just more horizontal gameplay options, and layer some of that stuff in. At least by the first TLP or something like that. Be funny to see merchant class trying to get to city from A to B without any combat. Yeah, I mean, they would enlist the combat classes. Response was, yes, always get the base game in first and add other stuff. These companies trying to put everything out from start and will fail due to scope creep. It's really hard, man. And there's a level of complexity that's... You have to be incredibly huge brain to pull it off. And that's why we don't see it pulled off a ton. Elder Shleem, thank you for the follow. Will expansions be implemented horizontally, like instead of WoW where you have to go to a new continent? I love if DLC or expansions are built into the main existing world. We've already got locations, even in the content that you're running by during beta / going into EA. There are locations that are likely post 1.0, so you're running by expansion content already. Why does the rock wall switch halfway up the wall? Because it's two pieces right now, and so like if you were to, you're seeing us sort of working in a more block out form. So like if I go to here, and then I go to here, then it starts to... And then we can look at just through lighting and stuff like that. It'll start to be different. Right, like it'll start to smooth out some, and then we can look if it looks jarring or whatever, then we'll merge these meshes and do whatever it is magic that the environment artists tend to do. Let me... Need stalagmites, stalactites. Yes, we need those things. Both of those things. Yep, you'll be able to climb it, and there'll be some great views from this area. I don't necessarily want to ruin it for everybody, but again, the lighting's kind of crazy right now because of it's still in progress. So, I'm developing some new mushrooms and some new various, yeah, there'll be some new assets going on in here. There's a lot of work that's going on. We want to get this in people's hands as soon as we can so that you guys get some testing time in during beta. What zone is it? The zone is Caves of Irem. I wish some of the deep races wouldn't be called deep. Well, I mean, their actual race name is not like the deep elves are not. They're colloquially called deep elves. Their actual name is the Ail'vorith. Edishan Charmy said, appreciating all your hard work, but also take care of yourselves as well. We're trying. Like, for example, I know this is an odd time to stream, but I'm doing it a little bit earlier so that I can then end this at a reasonable hour and eat some pizza and listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl with my wife. Above world races should use slurs for deep races and vice versa. Oh, they do. Glade Trail said, I just want to sit in my house in New Hampshire, order Uber Eats from other players, and watch streams of people playing on TV. What class is that? Oh, I don't know. What do you think, chat? What toppings are on the pizza? I've been on a kick of pepperoni, olives, and mushrooms. Like, kind of classic. Green or black olives? They have black olives, but I really like green olives. Cross said, ham and sun-dried tomatoes is a fave. Justin said, did I just hear New Hampshire instead of Night Harbor? Oh, wait. Did you mean Night Harbor, not New Hampshire? I guess maybe it makes more sense. I just want to sit in my house in Night Harbor, order Uber Eats from other players, and watch streams of people playing on TV. What class is that? Now that makes more sense. Interesting. We'll have to develop that class for an expansion. The pizza should arrive at 8. A lot of people asked to be banned from my stream by publicly admitting to preferring pineapple pizza. Goblin said, Goblin, I like pineapple pizza. What you gonna do about it? I go to watch his stream next time and I'm banned. I like pineapple and sardines. That is not what I want this time. This time I want the usual. I want the salami. What? Salami? Pepperoni. Why did I just say salami? I'm forgetting American. Pepperoni, mushrooms, olives. Yeah, sardines and pineapple is amazing because you got the sweet and you got the salty. I am UO based. I am based in UO. You're ordering pizzas in Night Harbor, and I'm based in UO apparently. I am in the EU. Charisma Lion said, I always wanted to try sardines on pizza. You should do it. You should absolutely do it. And, you know, if you don't like it, that it will be unfortunate because then you'll have a pizza that you don't like, but I think YOLO. Goblin, I decided, how fishy is it? Not very fishy. It doesn't really, sardines don't really seem like fish to me in terms of flavor profile. Staville said, back to work, have a great day. Hey, yeah, that's right. You guys, a lot of you are at work. Anchovies are way too salty. I don't know that it could be that salty or too salty. Goblin, I'm gonna fill this place up with these guys here with the eyes. Yeah, I'm gonna keep running through because there's a couple of scenes and stuff that I just want to make sure that as we're doing it, like some kind of like some framing. I know the lighting's very placeholder, and I'm not spoiling the one of the lighting elements that's in here at the moment. I've got it turned off. But I may run in here in a minute and kind of spoil it actually. What I want is to have like a ton of pillars in here because of the theme of this area and even the name of it. And then I'll start dropping more of them over. And if you noticed, the ones that have fallen over don't have the orbs in them anymore. And then we'll start using these to break up the flow. So between these giant pillars and the ones that are toppled, then it starts to... Then you start to actually have play space, and then we'll put in stalagmites, heights, and right, Goblin, and then and some ruin pieces and some rocks and stuff, and then we'll really have some nice, like, we'll break it up so that you have to like pull through. I'm saying like too much. The person who gave me the feedback on the VOD a few weeks ago, I apologize. I just caught myself saying like too much. Tight hangs tight to the ceiling, so mites. We need more mites. And then the mites mound's good. And I might trip over it, I think is what it... And tights come down. Exactly. It is Friday. So, thank you, Goblin. It has been my job in the past. I've got to dedicate more time to just getting in and working on getting content in, because I just really want to get people in here and playing this stuff ASAP. And a lot of our folks are tied up at the moment and stuff like that. But want to get the flow going in here so it feels dungeony, even though it is outdoor, technically outdoor. Tied up, you better release them. Folks got jobs, man, and the whole AI thing is like hitting a few different industries, and it's impacting some of our people, and yeah, so somebody else said that they were leaving to go to work. Bandit Bill, have a great rest of your Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Let me see if we can hop in here. Let's see what happens. It may be a little bit spoilery. Rambo 9000 said watching from the office. Well, I hope your day goes by quickly. You guys, you don't need to apologize for asking questions. Hopefully people in the chat are answering some of the questions. I'm missing a lot of them. So I apologize for not answering the questions that you apologize for. I don't know how loud this is going to be in a second. Okay, got music. Okay. It's been so long since I've done work on stream. I'm like, oh man. Klaus, we do. We do use Unity. Ognosis said AI is hitting us hard in tech. Lots of layoffs. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, oh man, I know what happened. Let me log out really quick again. Let me go back here and we'll turn it on. I'll spoil something for you if you don't mind. Or yeah. Ah man, I kind of don't want to spoil it for you. Have you already seen what I'm about to show you? Maybe it's already been spoiled before. There's so much other cool stuff you're going to see. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole zone. I'll see if I can find it, to be honest. Hey, you cater. Klaus is learning both Unity and Blender. Good combo. That is what we use. You never know. If things go according to plan and the game is around for a while, you never know where you may end up. The last company I worked at, most of the women that worked on Star Stable had played Star Stable when they were girls, when they were young ladies. That was a very passionate team as well. So I disabled this earlier to hide it from you, and now I'm kind of like, will I find it again? Been adventuring in Black Tide a bunch. So good. Has me super excited for what's coming. I'm going to have to... I need to add a post sometime soon to solicit some Black Tide feedback. Some of you guys have sent me feedback in the past. And I was... My dog is squeaking his ball in the background. You hear him? But there's a lot of feedback that I know I missed that I would like to... that I'd like to get in, and there's definitely work to be done in Black Tide. Does Robert decide what songs to make next, or do you let him know specific zones, places? Every once in a while we'll ask for something, but for the most part, Robert really works off of inspiration. When he's feeling a song, he's breaking necks back there in his mind. Yeah, he's chomping on birds. Where is this thing, man? Did I disable that I shouldn't have? Which god was he? I think Herodrol, and he was 2. He had his like crazy face and he had his normal face. Herodrol and Sorafal, maybe? Herodrol and Sorafal? Maybe not. On key raffle days, do you guys measure check that the keys are actually redeemed and people are playing? Yes, we do. We've got a dashboard for that. We like dashboards. Mentioned having a garden. What are you guys growing this season? We're going to be shooting for black and red corn, maybe some sweet corn. We've got new blueberry bushes we've added to our old blueberry bushes. We've expanded the raspberry area, strawberries, tomatoes, tobacco, Stackelbeeren. I don't know what that's called in English. Gooseberries? Gooseberries, the red dangly bits, Johannisbeeren. I forget what that's called in English. Mulberries? Maybe. I'd have to look it up. And then the usual squash. Spaghetti squash. Probably try some more melons this year. Black and red currants. That's what it is, nachos. Yeah, the tobacco is interesting. It grows really easily. Grown it before successfully, and it was there we go. Cool. All right. Spoiler is ready to be spoiled. Hopefully there aren't many people watching, and those of you, before I hit play, if you don't want to see a spoiler, you've been warned. You can just shut your eyes for a little bit, and then we'll let you know when it's safe. Do you have a lot of pest bugs attacking your plants? Depends on the year. We do have a ongoing slug problem where we live. If that gets annoying, I'll have him. I'll have him moved by my loving wife. It's a ball. Dude, he loves squeak balls more than anything on earth. Ready, get your ball. Come here. You don't want to come up because you got your ball? Haha, that'll get him out of here. You cannot get near the ball until he brings it to you and teases you. Hey, Gulu Gulu. Your garden's been getting army worms and flea beetles, but luckily stuff's outgrown the damage. Nice. Yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see how this year goes. There's never any telling. Is it going to be a drier year? Is it going to be a you know, a slugfest? So let me make myself human height so I can take a look at kind of, yeah, so you see what I'm saying, how this will break up line of sight and we can start to create some paths and stuff through here. Let me actually, is this gonna tell me like, okay. Southeast, US has been an extreme drought. It's been a weird year for weather. It's been really cold this year, so we'll see how it works out. I have to watch some of this. Like these, wow, these guys are a lot bigger than they seem. Is that ultravision or infravision? It is neither. It is us still working on lighting in here. Right, so I'm mostly in here just to get a feel for the scale of the props and stuff. Cool, all right, more pillars. So yeah, this is very much in the early. Bloody. Blockout phase. What is this area called? I can't tell you. And I'm not being coy. It has a name, but I do not want to tell you. Will there be deep zones with sunlight in them? Normal sunlight? Mirrors directing sunlight like in the Mummy. Interesting. I have eaten snails, yes, but not snails from the garden. Oh, wait. You're asking if we've put up a snail fence or copper wire. Sorry, I just glanced over quickly. We have tried the like the copper banding, and that wasn't super productive. Sorry, Nachos. I just looked over. Will we ever get controller support? I wouldn't be shocked if we have like continued at some point if we try to support it. Stuff like that. Ollie really loves stuff like that. When we started this project, what was something you thought would be easy but ended up being much harder than initially estimated? I don't know. Maintaining alignment on certain things. A zone line leading from the deep to the surface, like Sun Dong. That massive cave. It's like what, 8 kilometers long or something. We have a lot of pictures of that in different reference. An area like that would definitely be cool. But then it's kind of like is that a deep, really deep? Is it kind of deep entrance? Will the Deep Elf City have access above ground? Not directly, but from the zone. So I guess the answer is yes. Are deep elves hated by humans? For the most part, yeah. Groundskeeper. Thank you. I didn't even spell it out to consider what the name was there. Come here. Up, up. Up, up. Well, my dog is suddenly interested in the stream. Sorry about that, dog guys. He is a mini husky. Will the class rebalancing be released in stages or all at once? In stages, and we're already starting to get some of that up on the dev server. So Fortissimo, hello. How intense would a deep starting zones be compared to Night Harbor? As I understand it, Night Harbor is more intense than Evershade because of the skybox and water. It's not just that. You got to realize with Night Harbor, it is a massive zone with a ton of lights that we're continuing to optimize. A ton of, sorry about the ball, a ton of entities. The entities have lights, some of them. He's having a great time. Dude, I love him so much. I can't like hug and kiss that dog enough. You gotta understand, my previous dog was also a mini husky. And I had got him right as I was getting divorced, and like he and I were basically you know, it's one of those situations, relationships in, and it's just like, all right, it's me and my dog. So Ziggy and I were like best buds had him for 9 years, and he suddenly died. Like the year that we moved here, he suddenly died of cancer. We didn't know anything about it until it was just odd for a couple weeks and sores, and then it was just like boom, done. And that was it was one of the crazy things I've had happen in my life, and you know, family dying and everything else. That was one of the, to this date, one of the harder things. I would never have imagined that it hit me, but the way it did. But it was super tough, and it was very tough for Jasmine as well. She had known him, I think 4 years at that time, almost 5 years. And you know, so like half his life, and just super lovable little dude, very strange dog, and he was just a very unique buddy, and so it hit us pretty hard because it's like, what, out of the blue. So we were broken up, and after a little bit we started looking for another Kleekai, another little mini husky. And that little dude was on this website, and we're in Europe, so I couldn't go back to the breeder that I got Ziggy from. We found like a random this pre-war breeder in Moscow, and so we just kind of went through the process, and you know, got the videos and all this stuff, and he was just kind of the runt of the litter, I guess, that was just kind of left over on the website. And we're like, dude, we gotta have him. And yeah, he came in, and his personality is so different than. So his name is Rune, and he's so different. He's such a lover. Like Ziggy would come up, cuddle with you for about 5 minutes, and then he was gonna go in the other room, be by himself for the rest, many hours. But this guy is like he is a lover. So with the knowledge of how bad it sucked to have so little time with Ziggy in mind, like we do everything in our power to love the heck out of this guy. So Mr. Thought said we lost our cat last week. It's rough, man. Sorry to hear that. It is. Yushu says, I cried the hardest when my dog died. At least I finally knew I wasn't a sociopath. Yeah, that, like, we did the whole, like, just ugly crying thing. I'm kind of like, I'm tensing up to just sort of, I was like, all right, story's out. Let's move on. I'm good. Ugh. Power through it. Yeah, I don't like to think about it. It's so new topic. Those of you that have had similar losses, you know the deal. And those of you that haven't, and that's not, I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where as much as the loss sucks, the amount of gratitude for the experience that like precipitated it, or was the reason why the loss sucked was because all the time before it was really awesome. So what are you gonna do? Fortissimo, did you ask if this was a new area earlier? Unnecessary lore question. There's a reason there's a palace in Night Harbor when the city was founded by merchants and seafarers. Yes. There's all sorts of stuff about Night Harbor that give it time. Dargus said, I just joined the stream to have the rug pulled out from under me, not for feels. I am sorry. Thank you, Fortissimo. I saw you were very, I think it was you, were very complimentary of Fallen Pass, and appreciate it. We may come back in here and play around with the scale of this zone, though. New conversation, pancakes or waffles? Oh man, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to go pancakes. Pancakes seem to really absorb the syrup better. Are you guys building with ECS or just game objects? Wildcard, that sounds like a question for somebody with a brain that works much better than mine. Are one of our tech people in here or artists that would know that? I'm really just a trained monkey. So I hate waffles. Thank you, Criddle. Next Criddle, the Criddle summary. At 1 hour and 32 minutes, Sean said that he hated waffles. Proving something that we thought we knew about him. Do you have a zone that you either haven't gotten to yet or haven't released yet that are most excited for people to see? At the moment, I would say Fallen Watch. I'm excited for people to get into Rothold and play. But you guys have seen that on stream. So you've seen a bit of Rothold on stream. You haven't seen anything from Fallen Watch on stream that I know of. And so that's definitely one. I can't say for sure on Fallen Watch. It's being worked on both from the art side and the design side. Yeah, I think Fallen Watch will actually... I think it'll be... I do believe that the community will feel that it lived up to the hype of seeing it up there on the hill for so long. Yeah, Cad, you got some pressure on you. Congrats on level 30. Will Fallen Watch include a quest to find and return the watch for loot? The old time quest? Is Sunken Resort close to being released? Why is it not released? Let me make a note. I don't know what's holding that up. The watch quest, you gotta watch how you... There's conditions for how you transport it. Are these the same size? Did you ever eat Waffle House when you lived in South US? I have a Waffle House tattooed in my armpit, if that helps answer the question. On this arm, in here. So no, no. Yeah. The reason why I had a Waffle House tattooed in my armpit is because the guy that did my tattoos in DC when I was there, I would just tell him stories about the South. Like, stuff that we got up to. And he just, of all the crazy stories he had, he thought the stories I was telling him were just even wilder. So, in honor of the Waffle House. You love Shallow Shoals. Are there any plans for a major city hub like that of Night Harbor? Haven't seen a bank yet. There is a player island where it's all housing, and that does bring up a question of like, could we make a player driven bank that would work? Maybe if players set up all the housing there, it unlocks a NPC bank there. There is a bank in the zone, though. There is a bank in the zone. There's a bank over the, I forget, it's the Iron Ledger, the Silver Ledger. Essentially, the Corsair Island. If you've got the right faction. What are thoughts about adding ports to the player island? We need to fix the... If it's not fixed already, there is a port there that needs to transition better up to the top of the player island. Did you try waffle with red currant jam in Sweden? I did. Winkado, thank you for the follow. How do you deal with property inflation, opportunity for people to get actual houses that are not kept by large orgs or players? It's just something we're going to have to monitor we're going to have to monitor. I don't have a silver bullet answer for you at the moment. There's a finite number of, we're limiting the number of properties that you can have per account per server. But again, that doesn't preclude people from having additional accounts. Arini TV said, hey Sean, V Gates. Geht's gut, aber es ist Freitag und ich bin bald fertig und ich habe Hunger. Wie geht's mit dir? No worries, Mr. Z. I mean, these are all fair questions. I love the American accent when they speak German. Yeah, I definitely have an accent. Typische Army. Hear me out. Player made rafts in shallow shoals. Gazipoo using the mount system, which already has some concept of inventory and stats and can be killed. And then eventually leads to player-owned bigger boats and zones designed with that in mind. Eventually player-owned ships. Hey, Migs. Can boats be killed? Not yet. They're too powerful. Can you revive boats? Patch the hull. And all of the boat action will be done a la Puzzle Pirates. If it leaks, we can kill it. Holy shit. That's great. Do boats leave their spellbooks behind when they respawn? They do. We're very strict on that. Is this part of the deep or something else? It is part of the deep, Fortissimo. Sorry, you were out. You weren't here yet, I guess, when we popped in here for a moment. The deepening. It's happening. Hey, Zukin. We're basically running through, going from like block out to starting to do population work and add in details and adjust the layout. For reference, that's a ship down there. So lots of adjustments. It will likely feel and look a fair bit different when you get in here. Did the editor, did it do its thing where it breaks? Yeah, I think so. So we'll hit save. I love seeing this zone lit. Let's see if we can get back in and whether or not that fixed the bug. So this is a different zone. It's Black Tide Bay from a distance. Will it be difficult for non-deep races to navigate the deep? It shouldn't be. I mean, it's a bit darker. Did I spoil which class is getting worked on yet? No, but I did mention that we'll probably post an update on that this weekend. And you'll know the first class and more details. There'll be a deep dive. Unless something weird happens, we should be able to post the information this weekend. You guys do a lot great, but I have to say you're amazing with the lighting and atmosphere. Scale's on point as well. Appreciate it. Sometimes the scale, it feels a little... I'm like, maybe we need to rein this area in a bit or whatever. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now in Caves of Irem, but... Can I zoom in a bit? I can. I don't want to show too much and be too spoilery, but if you've been in here, you've probably seen some of this. Oh, okay, my bad. You're like, no, don't. What's the time commitment on a dev on reworking a single class looking like? It's going to depend on the class. We're starting with a couple classes where there were more of a, what are we going to, you know, like, how is this actually going to feel? Let's try to get this in sooner rather than later so that we can play with some of these concepts and have more time to bake. And I can tell you that we've got 2 classes where the bigger changes that we're wanting to do with them are, I don't want to overstate it, but I know one of them is on basically internal testing. We're able to log in and check it out. And then we've got another that one of the bigger changes for it has been fleshed out and is available. So I'm pretty optimistic that these guys are able to, Zillith and Jahar are like moving pretty quickly, and they've got really good support from Runaf and Ali and the team. So no, I will say it's not Shadow Knight. I think you guys, the changes with the SK, I think once you see where we land with it, you'll be like, oh wait, I thought you were going in a different like direction than where we are. A lot of what's going on with the SK is additive, and just kind of like continuing to make sure that they've just got enough of a dark, shadowy, dealing with evil and corruption kind of vibe to them. The different ability acquisition stuff that we're talking about, yeah, we're looking at different, you know, split between active, how does that actually work in real time? Also, how does that work in terms of longer term ability acquisition, right? So, let me go back to Caves of Irem and see if this fixed it or if I've got to basically restart the editor, which I just moved over to an SSD, so should be a bit faster these days if I do need a restart. And I think I do. All right, I don't think I have anything crazy on my desktop. I did save. Any plan for class changes to open playtest? No, not in this open playtest. They won't be in there. High Elf question, are they meant to be released once they're starting city zones ready, or will they be playable independent of that? They may be playable before then. Let me... Are there going to be deep elves in the open playtest? No, I don't believe so. But we're trying to get deep elves, deep gnomes, and then deep zones in and available as soon as possible. So they will likely be available for a future playtest prior to EA. Ping on my old question. Any chance you'll stream on YouTube too? Probably not. I mean, I'm barely streaming on Twitch. You know what I mean? And then I guess I'm not really. I haven't been super invested in learning how to get everything set up good and do things. I just kind of pop on here because it's easy. How's the Deep Elf town looking? Have you seen Chinny stream? Chinny has shown the Deep Elf City on stream, hasn't he? The work that they're doing? Oh yeah, I think I've shown it as well, haven't I? Because Chinny was in here and I was like, have you shown it? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so I can show it. Let's see. Let's go take a look real quick, since I guess it's not a spoiler. And then we'll wrap up here in a little bit. You know, Chinny D, you gotta watch his streams. Mr. Thoughts, I think that's a good way of putting it. Do you need a particularly powerful rig for this kind of game deving? No, I mean, I was all the way up until just recently. I was mostly on my my old machine, and it wasn't incredibly powerful. Yeah, I hope you guys wind up... I really do hope once we get the deep stuff in that you wind up really liking it. Keep in mind, we're going into a zone. It's untextured. The lights are blown out. Right? So that they can work. We'll go over to where there's some textures. I think the last time I was here, Simon was showing me some stuff. I don't know where I just zoned to. I don't know where I just... Well, I don't know where I'm going. Night Harbor, apparently. Okay. Spoiler averted. Okay, let's see if we can do this a different way. Oh, but someone added a zone line and trapped me. Okay. Okay, how are we going to do this? We're going to go collision off. And we're going to assume this zone line is not that big. Our assumption is correct. We have snuck around the zone line. Oh my god, I knew as soon as I said it, I would get got. Why did they do this to me? I cannot be stopped. My wife is reminding me that pizza is on the way. Dev versus dev combat. I can't be caged. Simon, Chinny, if you're out there laughing at the zone line that you're using to slap me in the face, this is a slap in the face. And also, they are not respecting my time. Cannot be stopped. All right. Cool. And then we'll do this, and then we're going to raid somebody. Let's not look at those names. Don't want to ruin some lore names for you. Maybe a little bit. It's okay. The pizza's here, guys. Just picture it being darker, and picture me as a puny little evil elf. And there is a fair amount to this place. I don't have anchovies today. It is pepperoni, mushrooms, and olives. So the guys are trucking right along. Yep, there'll be there's starter areas in here and all sorts of fun stuff. So, all right. We're going to, and as the months proceed, you'll be seeing more and more of the deep stuff, and you'll be seeing more of us working in here and doing populating work, and you'll be in here actually in the not too horribly distant future. So, with that in mind, let me check something out. I need to confirm something. We're going to raid somebody. I'd like for you to stick around for that raid. I was given a secret message about something that I want to confirm, and if that's true, then that's what we're going to do. All right. We're going to raid. It is Squats the Goblin's birthday. So I know we usually raid it, like try to grab a team member or somebody after here, but it's Squats the Goblin's birthday, and Squats has made some wonderful content for us, and he is a great community member. So let's raid Squats the Goblin, and he's in game, it looks like, and so let's do that. And then you guys have a wonderful weekend. Schönen Abend noch und guten Appetit. Vielen Dank. Gleichfalls. Und let's raid Squats. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next week, and we'll try to get in a little bit more streaming than we did this week. Trevlig Helg. Is that like am I supposed to respond with a Heru? Oh, okay. Let's have a nice weekend. Thank you. All right, Squats the Goblin. We're starting the raid now. Everybody stick around, say hi to Squats. Give him some follows. He's a good guy. I really genuinely like him. You guys have a great weekend. Glad everybody was here. And I will see you next week.